Hello everybody and welcome to this general walkthrough for the Christmas Park tournament, which starts Monday 21st of December in the game of Golf Clash. We are going to be playing a full 9 holes of City Park, which will be covered in snow, I do believe. I know this isn't everybody's favourite course. It does have its tricky moments and there are some inconsistencies that we need to be aware of in some of the fairways and greens, and it can be quite frustrating. But here is, as usual, general walkthrough of all 9 holes. Going to look at each overview in turn with some suggested routes, club suggestions, and also some spin setups as we go along. Bear in mind with the elevation figures as well that these are only general suggestions and will need to be tweaked once we know what wins we are having throughout the week in the tournament. Don't forget, if you're new here, please make sure you subscribe to the channel. If you could all hit thumbs up on the video, that would be much appreciated, and get the bell button enabled so you know when we upload new content or when we go live. So let's start by looking at hole number 1. Now, they've mixed the holes up a little bit this time. Rather than start with a par 3 in City Park, we're starting with this very awkward and not really much loved par 4. It's the one with 4 bunkers either side of the fairway. This is difficult. And you're going to see a lot of people getting just a par on this hole. Black line is the suggested route for most divisions, and we will be playing with topspin and left spin. You may also want to use a little bit of left curl on your drive because the fairway does slope from left to right where that red cross is, where you're going to be bouncing, and the ball will be kicked to the right. I would advise you to be careful with the amount of topspin here because there is some glitch roll moments on the fairway and you can very easily end up with the ball in one of the bunkers on the right hand side if you get that speed roll. So it's up to you what you do with your drive here, but you do want to get as far down that fairway as you can without risking really going into the rough or the sand. This is a long par 4. 10% extra on the drive. From there you have a 0% shot up to the green. Now you've got 2 choices depending how far you've gone with your drive. It's up to you really which wood club you pack. Rookie division, you're advised really to go with the big dog here for distance. But if you get a good drive, pro and expert and upwards, then you might be able to get away with the sniper here as well with power 3 ball plus. You can either bounce where the red cross is with some topspin and go up to the green, bouncing over the rough. Bear in mind it is uphill. Or you could, where the small blue cross is, there is a rough bump here as well. But be careful because you may well have to adjust down into the bunker, which will cause you to lose distance on your shot. So you may need to build up your elevation or do a slight push up to counteract this. The white line here is a shot I've played quite a bit, and that is obviously a power hook and can be very, very useful either with Titan Kingmaker or even a Berserker. Takes the bunkers out of the equation. You do have a good bit of fairway to aim at, but obviously there's always risk with power hooks and you're going to need to evaluate your landing position and your aiming point very carefully. However, if you go for that, even if you end up in the rough nearer the green, you will still easily reach the green in 2. If you're going to go for the power hook, I would pack a long iron with backspin such as the Saturn so you can play directly onto the green. Same with your rough iron, you may want to look at packing the machete here so you can play a max backspin shot. So that is hole number 1, the first par 4. Hole number 2 here is a very, very long par 5, and unless you've got a great amount of tailwind, for example expert or master, you're not going to reach this green in 2 very easily at all. Black line first. I would suggest going with the driver with accuracy and good ball guide, so the quarterback or the rock would be my choices here. Bounce where that red cross is with a bit of topspin. Try and get yourself almost up to the end of the fairway without risking rolling into the rough. From there you're going to use a 180 yard wood club to bounce, transport yourself up that second fairway over that island of rough in the middle, which is then going to leave you with a short iron shot to the green on your 3rd shot. 10% on the drive, 0% second shot. The third shot with the thorn, you might want to be playing this -10. If you have good ball guide on the thorn, you can use the right hand side of the green and the slope on the top right corner to bring the ball back down to the pin, or you could approach it directly. There is also a rough bump there on the left of the green just above the sand, so if you've got a long iron with good ball guide, you might want to give that a go as well. The Grizzly or the B52 both will work well here. And the white line does show the send it shot. So if you have strong tailwind, and again, we're likely not to get that wind strength in pro, so this is expert and up. You can go full topspin, full blast, power 5 ball or power 5 wind 0 ball, bounce on the end of the first piece of fairway and spin out or clear it directly to get yourself much nearer the green. Second shot, if you're taking the white line, I would recommend going with the Guardian for the backspin and landing directly on the green, so you give yourself an easy putt for the eagle on hole number 2. Hole number 3 is our first par 3, and as you can see, the tees offer slightly different angles to the green. Black line first, which is going to be rookie division, really good chance for a hole in one. This is easier for rookies than it is on the other 2 tees to get a hole in one, because you can play straight at the pin. The green does have a central kind of ridge to it, and you will land on the fringe there, where the red cross is, with some backspin and go directly at the hole. Really good chance here for a hole in one. I would suggest going with the most accurate long iron, probably the backbone for rookies, as long as you've got sufficient backspin. The white line for expert and master, and also pro of course, second and third tee, we have to go from the left because the tees are more situated to the left hand side. 10% extra from all tees. If you're playing second and third tee, you're going to need a little bit of spin, landing where the blue cross is and kicking the ball in. There is a slight slope on the right of the cup here, which will bring your ball back down towards the hole, but this result here, this approach, is rather inconsistent, and even if you adjust your drive really carefully, you may not get the same result twice. It's very difficult with the way the fairway and the green slopes. We have in the past played a Marlin Guardian shot in expert division. If the wind is right, this does offer a good chance also for the hole in one. A lot of people were dropping that last time, but usually it's going to be with the long iron here for pro, expert and also rookie division. Hole number 4 now, back to par 4. And we've got a good chance for an eagle here, to be honest, in all wind conditions. Black line is my preferred route, bouncing again on the cross, plus 10%, and we're going to need top spin and some right spin, and maybe even a smidgen of right curl as well, to make sure that we avoid the tree and don't end up in the rough. Be careful with your landing position here. As you move your target around, you will see the ball guide does move quite considerably after that sand in the middle. This is because the fairway is not very flat where you're bouncing, so be careful. You may also need to push up after you adjust to make sure you're going to clear all of the bunkers here on the fairway. If you don't fancy that route, you can go with the white line as well, which is going to take you more on the right side, but is still a very viable option. So pick whichever suits you best depending what wind direction we have. Second shot is pretty much always going to be played with the short iron, and you've got 2 options here. Most people like to use the thorn. Obviously, if you have a good ball guide, it makes it easier because the green again is not very true. You will have slight deviation in the path of the ball to the hole if you're playing with the thorn. Some people, however, do like to use the runner here and go with a rough bump with the top spin that you have on that club. Obviously that eliminates some second bounce wind effect and gives you a truer line to the pin. But hole number 4 can be frustrating, especially that short iron shot. Need to line it up very carefully, offset as you think is appropriate, and you will find yourselves missing slightly left or slightly right more often than not, in my experience, on hole number 4. Hole number 5 then, really only one line to the green here, but a variety of landing positions that we can use. Going to be a long iron for the rookies, and you've got a choice here, landing either where the blue cross is, bouncing up with top spin, or if you're using a ball with some side spin, you can go where the black cross is as well. The red one indicates on the green going directly, and this is obviously going to be Pro Expert Master with the Guardian, or any driver obviously if we need to, with max backspin. Bear in mind this green is uphill and you do not want to go short here because the ball will roll back down from the cup to the nearer part of the green. So I would rather approach this with a little more speed than less. As I said, it's uphill. If it rolls past the cup, it will check up, either stay on the back of the green or at worst on the fringe. So that's the way I would suggest for hole 5. All the 3 tees are in line with each other, so no real difference in angle of approach. It's just up to you where you want to bounce according to how you're going to adjust, and that of course is going to depend on what wind we do have on hole number 5. Hole number 6 now, fairly lengthy par 5 that we do have to deal with here. And if we get any form of headwind, this is going to be a challenge really to reach the green consistently in 2. It's going to be requiring very precise shots. 20% on the drive. I usually use the black line, bouncing there and then over with as much topspin as you can so that you roll as far as possible onto that next piece of fairway where the tip of the first black arrow is, and once again without risking rolling into the rough. If you do go into the rough, you will not reach the green in 2 very easily at all. The alternate one is you can use the white line. It's slightly thinner patch of fairway there. But even with a good amount of topspin, you're going to probably have to risk hitting the rough on your second or third bounce and then rolling out. And that may not be as consistent as the other approach. So choose your route carefully here. With the second shot, depending again what the wind direction is, you might want to use a wood club with distance here. And even in expert division, we have used in the past power 4 balls quite regularly on this hole just to make sure we can secure the eagle. You're probably going to bounce before the bunker with some backspin to get your ball then to hop up and land on the green. Very slim chance of albatross here. There is a possibility, but it's not easy. So be careful with this one. In expert division with decent wind strength, there have been people that have been playing either send it shots here, and I've also seen power slices work very effectively on this hole. However, if you want to try that, make sure you refer to some previous videos if you can find them, or calculate your rings very, very carefully because, as I said, there's not a great margin for error on some of these fairways on this hole. So there is hole number 6. Hole number 7 now, which is the final of the par 3s, and this one another frustrating hole. You're really going to be wanting to use the Guardian here, or from front tee you're going to be going with long iron with as much backspin as possible so that you can land just on the green there beyond the bunker and the fringe where the black cross is. You're going to need backspin and you're going to need some left spin as well. What you can't see obviously on this aerial photo is that the green slopes heavily from the top right corner down to the pin, and you're going to want to really pay attention if you're using the Guardian shot. Try and find a reference point with your second bounce because obviously the rings are a different size. Going to be very, very tricky here, and you're going to get close many times. A very difficult one to get a hole in one, but the route for me is bouncing directly onto the green itself. And there we go with hole number 7. Finally, worth saying, I have seen people try a rough bump here, but the strip of rough between the sand and the fringe is very slim. So for me, I'm just going to play it safe and go with backspin and hopefully get a good roll for a hole in one. Hole number 8 then is the final par 4, of course, and really again only one route that people generally play here. Bouncing where that first red cross is, you're going to need some top spin, but also 3 bars of left spin is good here so that you don't risk going into that strip of sand by the rocks on the fairway. Play the drive 10% elevation. You may also want to use a bit of left curl here. Great balls left, great balls right are going to risk going into the rough or the sand, especially with lower accuracy drivers. Hopefully you get a good drive though, and that will leave you a 0% second shot, and that's going to be with your wood club. Sniper is preferred for the ball guide, and you may want to use the slider here to make sure that you're doing the correct elevation. A very, very tricky one to get an eagle on here. Some people say there is a funnel on this green. I would argue it's maybe more of a sticky spot and it's not the biggest funnel in the world to be trying to catch for an eagle. So once again, you're going to have a lot of near misses here and you won't see as many eagles as you usually would on a par 4. But still, there is still a good chance of it as well. But make sure you got an accurate drive, as it is a lengthy second shot. You may not reach with your rough iron or your sand wedge, should you be finding yourself in trouble after the drive. And finally we reach hole 9, which of course is a par 5 to finish. Now this one is going to give you the best chance of an albatross out of all the par 5s. Admittedly not an easy one, but it's still, out of the 3 we do have, a decent chance. For the drive, I would suggest using quarterback or the rock for accuracy and ball guide, but obviously if you don't have those, just use the best driver that you do have. You're going to want to use right spin and also some right curl here to bounce over that little corner of rough and sand and get you onto the right hand fork of that first piece of fairway. Usually the drive is played plus 5% elevation. From here you're going to be left with a wood club shot. Hopefully you're going to be in sniper range and you can bounce on that little island where the second red cross is. Use some backspin aimed directly at the hole, especially if you got straight wind. You won't need to offset, hopefully, and play it minus 10% elevation as it is an uphill shot. Obviously, if we do have headwind, we may need to modify our club selection and go for a 180-yard wood club just to make sure we reach the green in 2. Some people like to use the left-hand side of the first piece of fairway, obviously going with left spin and left curl rather than the opposite of that, giving you a cleaner shot using the bigger part of the second fairway. But usually, if the wind allows, we will take the route that's shown here to give ourselves a good chance at the albatross on hole number 9. So there you go, guys. I hope you found the walkthrough useful. Don't forget to hit thumbs up if you've not done so already, and feel free to share the video with your clanmates as a good bit of a reminder if they are not familiar with City Park, or if it's completely new, then hopefully this has helped you get a good oversight on all of the holes. I wish you all the best next week for the Christmas Park tournament and enjoy your games. Thank you for watching. Bye for now.